Welcome to the OnPar Podcast. I'm your host, Drew D. Alberto, along with my co-host, Sean Kicker.
Good morning.
And then we have DMarie Smith here with us today. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So we always start these with, tell us your golf story.
Wow. My golf story actually started from hockey.
Okay.
My son was an avid hockey player. We're from Pittsburgh, so, hockey is a big thing up there. And he played since he was 6. And his last 2 years of high school, he had 2 really bad concussions. So me being a single mom, I always had a part-time job, bartending or serving. And one of my regular customers was a golf pro and said, hey, you know what? They're usually good at swinging. Bring them in, and I'll see if I can get him out of his little funk and all that kind of stuff. And he was damn good. He could hit the ball and do everything, but his heart just wasn't there. He was so heartbroken from hockey. And while we were there during lessons, I just started doing things and hitting and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of fell in love at that point. And my son said, Mom, actually, you seem like you really like this. Why don't you just... So then he went off to college. And it was like my first thing that I had for myself in a very long time. I always had him. He did travel, so it was travel hockey. It was always crazy. And then probably my first week going out practicing one of the golf courses, which was actually Woodmont Country Club, they came up running up to me on the range and was like, hey, do you want a job here? And I was like, okay, doing what? And they're like, we need a bartender. So I said, sure, I need a little part-time job. So I did that. 1 week after that, I met a group of guys that was called the Golfing with Athletes. There are a lot of retired athletes, and they golfed every Tuesday. And they said one day, at the end of that day, they said, what do you do? So I said, well, I worked. I said, but I'm kind of freelancing. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, but being a single mom, I had to have a regular paycheck and job, and I was in interior design. So I worked it out with my boss. They said, we want you on Tuesdays. What do we got to do? I said, well, let me talk to my boss first. So I worked it out with my job, my regular 9 to 5, that I can have off Tuesdays, but I would make up the work during the week, or I would come in on a Saturday and make up the work. And I have been with them now for almost 10 years. And they will not let me go. When I've missed like probably 3 times in 10 years. Traveling to my son who goes to UNLV in Las Vegas, and they're always upset. I'm getting text messages all day. Why are you gone? Blah, 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 And I just love it. And then I started a second game on Fridays, a skins game. So I do 2 games a week. A lot of the guys have their own charities. So they always had a tournament, or they wanted to have one, and they're like, you're organized, you do everything, why don't you help us with our charities? So I started doing their tournaments, and then they encouraged me to start my own business. And I was kind of just burnt out from interior design and different things and working 3 jobs and all that. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to step out on faith. So right before COVID, in 2019, I opened up Gold Crown Golf Services, and I had a Super Bowl party. We had Super Bowl here that year, and I had a ton of athletes there who supported me and came, and literally was booked up with maybe 8 tournaments already. And then COVID happened and everything shut down. So slowly but surely since COVID, I've been working my way up, and this year has been one of my busiest years so far. So I'm actually looking into hiring somebody to help me out and get things going, because I've had so many opportunities, but it's amazing.
That's right.
Pretty cool thing.
I run into you everywhere. So, and I know that group could not function without you. You are an integral part of everything that they do, and they do love. But tell us a little bit more about who are some of when you say the athletes. I know who they are, but share with the crowd who some of these athletes are, because it's a pretty impressive list.
I have Lawrence Taylor, the Lawrence Taylor.
LT.
Yes, Dwayne Starks, who actually started the Golfing with Athletes group 3 years prior to he coming on board. So he started it and got it going, and then he just handed it over to me. I have Michael Big comes when he's in town. I have Ray Allen here periodically, but Ray's been coaching his son's basketball team, so he hasn't played as much. But J.R. Smith, Cornelius Bennett, Dante Culpepper, Lamar Thomas, various ones that come in town. They just, they all know to call me, and they're like, call Dawn and see what game she has going on this week.
Hall of Famer Ricky Jackson.
Ricky Jackson, yes. Richard Dent comes in town. Richard plays with me as well. Levon Hernandez, yes. He used to play El Duque as well. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, you know them all. I'm like, I can't even think of all of them, but yeah. And then I get, in the off season, there are some that are players that still playing. Like, I know I've had Dwayne Wade out there, and Antonio Brown has done some things. And even James Johnson, who used to be with the Heat as well. But they call me even when they're not playing with my group, just so I can organize and set it up for them and kind of make it exclusive. So that's the concierge end of my business as well.
And you mentioned that a lot of them have nonprofits. I presume a lot of them have multiple businesses that they're invested in. How does the golf and business translate into one another for these athletes?
Oh, it's everything, because it's about building a relationship. So most of them already have some relationships from their charities, and then we convert that over into business, like working with Cobra and Callaway or Titleist. But all of them, it's deals. After the golf course, sometimes we sit around and, drink, smoke cigars. I will or here and there. Every once in a while. I got that from my dad. But, and I'll see them sitting around a table and just kind of like talking about business, which is great. Some of them have come out with something and they want maybe others to invest, or, hey, what do you think about this? And they're sitting there involved, stocks and different things. I mean, they talk about all kinds of stuff, and golf is what brings that together. And I think that's how I've met Curfton as well, because business, and one of his business associates was a part of the group, and he's like, hey, come to the group, you could probably do some business. So not everybody in the group is an athlete for the Golfing with Athletes group, but they've been invited in by an athlete and a guest. So we have accountants, we have doctors, we have finance guys, wealth management. So all those connections bring everybody together.
And a lot of really good players too.
Yes, and some that aren't so good. We've had throw clubs, some that,
I've had that discussion a lot on this show where, that golf and business kind of brings everybody together, and you meet good people on the golf course. If any of those guys want to come on the show and promote whatever businesses or nonprofits, we'd love to have.
Oh, for sure.
So that's definitely something we can work with you over.
Sure, and I even have some that have a couple podcasts. Some of them have their own podcasts too. Some people, there's a connection there.
See how on theirs they come?
Yes. Yeah,
very cool. Yeah, very cool. What else do you want to talk about today? What should our viewership know about you and your business?
That I am phenomenal. No, my goal is just for everyone to come out and enjoy themselves. They don't have to think about it. My main demographic are men, and that's just how I fell into the business, and it's just been growing from there. But recently, I've done a lot of charities, and I actually started doing golf clinics for ladies who were interested and didn't really know. So I did my first clinic back in October, and it was 31 ladies, just wanting to learn about golf. I have another one coming up January 25th because I want to bring more ladies into the game as well. And of course, the guys don't mind that as well, right?
Are you involved with Paula Tucker in that?
And I do, yes. Paul, she is not for the clinic, but I am involved with the For Life charity. I helped her out for, 8 years with the For Life tournament that Lawrence Taylor also is a part of.
Celebrity Throwback.
Yes, the Celebrity Throwback. Lawrence's daughter in Atlanta, he also has the Lawrence Taylor Family Foundation in Atlanta, and I've gone there for it's only been for 2 years, and helped them out with that tournament as well. But I just want you to show up and have fun, learn the game of golf, play the game of golf, and most importantly, make connections at the beginning of golf.
So what do I have to do to get invited?
We gotta pay to play, baby.
Just like what? Just like what?
I have to go home and get my check in like 15 minutes. Yeah. Do you have any business advice that you want to share with maybe aspiring entrepreneurs or golf advice? Any advice that you want to give to the younger generation about how important golf is to building those relationships and making those connections.
Yes. And not just for golf, just in general. I mean, I never thought in a million years that I would be here after 10 years of golf. Just kind of that first initial, like, falling in love and falling hard for it. I never thought that I would be here having my own business. So anything is possible. You know, you got to dream big before at first I'm like, oh, I don't know. I was a little hesitant. And you got to have the right people supporting you and being there to encourage you. Bounce ideas, advice off of. There's a lot of entrepreneurs that I talk to through golf, and there are things that I'm like, oh wow, I never thought about that. So you got to be open. You got to be open, go for it, and see what happens. But I just feel more gratification knowing that I'm busting my butt for myself. It's been a hard road. Not that everybody has their own story, but as a single parent raising a son, now he's about to graduate from college, so I'm so happy for that. But it took a lot of work and determination. So that's what I encourage my son as a 24-year-old. You know what? Go for your dreams. There's no limits to what you can do nowadays. The sky is the limit, and with so many avenues, with social media and all these things, it's a different time that they have everything right in front of them. So use it wisely and smart.
So does your son play golf now?
He does, but he doesn't. He only plays with me. Or he'll go to the range on his own to hit balls, but he only plays with me usually just for fun.
That's a good way to spend time with your son.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that. Does he use it for business at all, or is he not there?
Not yet. Not yet. A lot of the younger ones, even like some of the younger actings that I get coming in, they don't realize how impactful it is for business right now. Yeah. And I said, listen, groom it, nurture it. You don't have to do it all the time, but you're going to need this later on in life. You're going to say, oh my God, thank you for pushing me and getting me into it. I've even had like 2 new, was formerly on the Dolphins. Never knew anything about golf, and got them into golf, connected them to get some clubs, and they were like addicted. And then 2 of them both got traded away to other teams, but they call me up like, I want to play. Know any courses up here? So it's just great to see that. But, they may not be into it until later, but at least I feel like I'm instrumental in pushing them along into that arena.
So go ahead.
You definitely have been, daughter, and my hat's off to you. That entrepreneurial spirit of yours comes through. And again, who would have thought 15 years ago that he would actually be as much of a player in this game as you are? People know who you are everywhere you go. And it's a testament to you as a person.
I love that. They just don't know that I have like an electric wit, and I just you beat everybody every once in a while.
There you go.
That makes it easier.
My kids are 14 and Kirsten also has younger kids than mine. What do we say to our kids, or what would you say to our kids? How do we get them into golf now so that they're good at it later when they need it for business?
Definitely put them out there, and at least just put them out there and see. I mean, it's outdoors. It's beautiful out. We live in South Florida. We're in one of the best places to be for golf. And like I said, just kind of groom them and do it subtly here and there. And like I said, they may not see the value in it right now because all the kids now are electronic and this and that. So you want to get them out and active, but it's not like football or basketball where it's super competitive. It's an individual sport, right? So they don't feel bad if they're competing and they don't win or they don't get the ball or whatever the case is. But I would start grooming them now. Okay. I have a client who has a 1-year-old, and he already had like a little set of plastic clubs with him already. So I love that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we had Tessa in the first tee for a couple of back-to-backers, but now she wants to play football. So I'm trying to go play football, flag football in January, supposedly. So
my 2 dreams were being a quarterback and a race car driver. I didn't. Okay. Yeah, I thought I would do both and ended up here.
And it seems like you're never smiling, so I think it happened that it was supposed to happen, right?
I do. Believe what's meant to be is meant to be.
Very cool. Yeah, very cool. Well, thank you so much for being here with us, Dawn.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome back anytime. And next time we play golf, we'll do it up.
Yes, for sure.
Very cool.
And I do play. They always wonder if I play or not, but I do play.
I kind of figured.
That just don't get it a lot of times to play.
They say if you want to play golf, don't go into the golf business.
Right. That is so true. Very true.
Well, thank you again, Dawn. It's been a true pleasure.
Thank you. I appreciate it.